Oh, Myler. I see. Myler decided to start. Oh, that's good. Well, I'll start the timer then.
Guess we didn't have slides for these because this was kind of last minute, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I can go ahead and explain some about the scoring in this game. I'll just go over like the general stuff and then get into what makes this category really unique. So as you can see, Grace is a thing in this game. In this game, you get points for Grace, and in extra, in particular, you get a lot. Also, it looks like he's actually doing a pacifist run now. He's probably doing that before the timer really starts off. Oh, well, I guess it reset now. So we should probably soon switch to a actual scoring.
Well, I'll stop the timer and then start it on the hour then.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah,
I mean, even if he goes slightly over, it's okay because the stage is 8 minutes long. I mean, if you play with Marissa A and absolutely min-max your damage, it's not even that long. It can be 7 minutes long if you want it.
So in this stage, you actually get 25,600 points per Grace that you get in this stage. Whereas it would be much lower values in the main game. It's like I think it's like 5,000 on Lunatic, like 2,000 normal, 1,000 easy.
Yeah, you just see the score going cha-ching every time he goes near a bullet, like ching.
Yeah, so it is like a little under a third of your entire score in this stage. Like a general like decent good score of this category is about 78 million. It is actually very easy to get a high percentage of the record in this category because of how many things just give you a score for free here.
It is a little annoying if you're trying to use the score to use extend cancels, which are a thing in this game, but generally not a realistic thing.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
It's almost a thing here.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We can explain some of the more basic things too. Like in this game, you can actually POC with your bombs, and so that is actually being used in scoring to go to the top of the screen, bomb, and then collect a bunch of items that get gravitated towards you while you're at the top of the screen. And you do need to be at the top of the screen for the items to be worth more. And while you have the bomb active, you also get a ×2 multiplier on your items. So you are going to generally see that you are going to be using bombs when there's a lot of enemies and a lot of items on the screen to bomb them and collect the items. And then you're going to be doing suicides to get bombs back, and rinse and repeat. With extra, it's going to be a little bit different, but I'll get to that in a moment. Yeah, so, and then you have Grace, which gives a lot of points, and that also contributes a lot to the clear bonus. You get up to 49,950 points in the base value of your clear bonus, times the difficulty times the number of items times the difficulty. So that does add up to a lot. I guess he's doing pacifist so he can show this boss and what makes it even more unique, but something you absolutely do not want to see in a score run. Unless you are suicidal.
I sure hope. Oh, wow, Myers has always been extremely good at this stage. He has shown me quite a lot. He sometimes accidentally gets the Len'en in it just casually like that. But oh, come on, he's making an ass out of Mugetsu, and she's not an easy fight at all.
Yeah, so bosses in this game do actually have a timer, unlike most bosses in SWW.
Here's the rage
in
face.
in this difficulty, Zoom decided that if you time out patterns, the game is just going to hate you for it.
Yeah, it's probably what Myler actually wanted to show here. He wanted to show, haha, remember guys, this is the stage with the funny timeouts.
Yeah, remember the rape time?
Come on. We don't usually call it that anymore. It's because it's no. Gengetsu has a very funny final timeout.
Yeah, and it is actually also based on the phase that you're on. Like each timeout phase has a different amount of time, and it is. I don't remember if anyone has ever cleared this game fully pacifist. Like I do know that JRS has a video of like the entire boss fight, but it's just the boss fight.
Also, it's pause buffered, I think.
I don't think it is, but I did actually try it before, and I did actually get very close. But like, if you want to clear this game or clear this difficulty just pacifist, you pretty much cannot waste a single resource. If you die with bombs, that might just kill the entire run right there. You have just enough resources to survive.
We're starting out for real this time. Well,
right,
here we have LS Marissa A EX scoring showcase.
Alright, so he is picking Marissa A, most likely because it is the easiest for survival, because she has the strong lasers. Optimally, you would be using Reimu B for the spread, mainly. Okay, so... we did go over the Grays, we did go over the clear bonus, for the most part, so you can see that he's using his bombs here to kill enemies and get a bunch of point items that way. And he's getting a lot of score from that. And so he is not grazing a lot right now. In fact, his graze is 0, and this is on purpose because basically this game's extra stage is so optimized, and you get most of your score so easily that you have to start optimizing through very unorthodox means, and that is to get extend cancels and optimize them. In this game, you get extends at fixed score values. And since a lot of the score that you get here is pretty predictable, you can actually kind of route out when you get your extends. And this is mostly controlled by your graze, because graze gives you just so much in terms of score. And that is also why you need to go ahead and avoid graze in this game when you're playing the extra stage for score. And that is one of the things that makes this category so unique. It is unlike any other category in the series where you actually have to not score in order to score.
Well, Roby, let's be fair. This is like also almost a third of the length of a lunatic run, so that's why it's also far more predictable in extend cancels. You can extend cancel Gengetsu's final, for example, on an EXNN run semi-reliably. Extend cancels on Lunatic.
Oh, he missed those enemies.
Goes.
He just reset because he bombed too late, so he didn't kill those lower pinwheel enemies. It is worth resetting because the stage is so short, and you do not really want to be missing items needlessly like that. But yeah, you are going to basically have your extend cancels happen at fixed times. There are a few extends that you are not gonna get cancels on, just because, well, you can't really get around it if you score, because you're bombing items, and that gives you a lot of score too. So if you get an extend, then you're not really canceling anything.
accidentally went into the main game there for a second. I make that mistake all the time.
Yeah, I do that too. It's not really a big deal. Yeah. And so when you're going for extend cancels, that's basically when you get into the 80 million category of scores. That is kind of almost required in order to get a score this high. Although, if memory serves, at least last I checked, Myler do extra score attempts. He did not actually go for extend cancels, and he did actually manage to get 80 million just by being incredibly lucky with the items he got from suicides.
And there's some RNG involved because you can get up to 4-point items when you suicide in this game, I believe. You can also get none, which is very common as well.
Yeah, I don't remember if this is the case for LS, but I think it's slightly more likely that you get power items, but I might just be talking something up, and it's not actually true at all, but I want to say vaguely there was something like that, but maybe someone can confirm it for me.
Wow, having to do this section but not stream it is a little bit cursed.
You can stream it, he's just not really doing it for some reason. Like you
normally stream this. It's harder to get the items if you do that, though.
Yeah, well, you can basically like stream left and right if you route it out correctly and still collect the items. Like if you have the stage memorized very well, you can basically just get into like basically static movements where you just know exactly where all the bullets are gonna be. And on the end of this stage section, you have this same part, except there's gonna be enemies shooting faster, and even then you can still stream. But then you usually do something where you stream downwards, and then kind of do like this zigzag movement to stream the bullets that are coming from straight above you. So you're basically streaming all bullets at the same time like that. But I don't think Myler's gonna do that. It is a little bit of an optimization, because ultimately those enemies that we're talking about, they only drop big power items and they aren't as significant. But you do want to collect them if you're going for like the high tier score runs that are like 79, 80 million territory.
Yeah. Well, in the extra in this stage as well, as some of you might have already been noticing, is a lot like modern Windows extras, where there's a whole lot of aim stuff, a whole lot of streaming. Yeah, so I guess Myler on that section there, which normally is just streaming, he wanted to take maybe a little bit of more risk to try to get some different stuff with the items. Not sure if it's something that he should be doing, but maybe Myler was very ambitious about his score in this game when he wanted to do the showcases. He told me, "Oh, Fammy, I will get 50 million on stream." He later corrected that to 47 million, but very ambitious there.
So one thing I did not cover here is actually a number you can see in the HUD that's currently 12,800. That is dream bonus, and that's those blue items that you just saw earlier. They basically increase the point item value. So this is, I suppose, the first game that really had something like point item value, but it caps out at 12,800, and that is the base value of the item. It does not get multiplied by the bomb, for example. Like you basically get a max point item value that is 64,000. But then that number can still get multiplied by 2 if you bomb. And then when you do suicides, then that dream bonus is going to decrease by basically 1 item. It is always, the items that you collect will always bring the dream bonus up to a fixed value. Okay, so now he's going to suicide, and then he's going to bomb here, because there's a lot of enemies here, and they are also very random. And after this second bomb, he is going to probably have to kill some more enemies for which he's not gonna know where they come from. Okay, interesting. He's suiciding already. That's not what I would do. Because now he's not gonna.
Here.
Yeah, now he's not gonna be able to pick up these items at a higher value. Okay, so the next extended.
The PT98 streaming phases.
Yeah, so he is getting close to the 22 million extend, and he is going to want to ideally get the extend cancel on Mugetsu's like dual laser spread. That one has the most amount of bullets. Now it is going to be very hard to really be optimal with this because it really just comes down to what is exactly your score right now. And because with these patterns you cannot avoid grays without bombing, you're just gonna have to kind of suck up the consequences of how much score you're gonna have. Like sometimes you're just simply gonna get worse extend cancels. There's only so much you can do to really control it. Now all of these attacks do come in a sense board.
It's almost random because of the grays, yeah. Because there's so
well,
much money to be made of grays.
Yeah, well, he did get a decent extend there. That's about maybe a little under 100k. Basically, all bullets that you delete here are going to be worth 1,000 points, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but it does absolutely matter in this category. Because again, you get most of your score kind of for free already, and then most of the optimization comes from the little things like extend cancels, the RNG with the items that get dropped, and things like that, and also the cancels, the cancel bonuses, because this pattern here, it is very difficult to really control what the cancel is going to be, so it is going to be largely luck based, and like the best cancel you can get here I think is like 1.7 million, but if you are very unlucky it can be like as low as like 1.2, so you could lose up to like 500,000 just on this cancel, and it looks like he was unlucky. That cost him quite a lot of score right there. Alright, now comes Kangetsu. Okay. The last extend cancel is going to come up here, and we want to see the extend cancel on this pellet spam that comes right now. That was a mistake. Uh-oh.
Yeah, sad.
So I believe you can actually try to point blank graze that pattern if you're close enough to getting the extend. I don't know how risky it is. I personally don't do that, but I think that is technically a strategy you can use to be a little more consistent. But I think you would also end up getting the extend cancel too early if you do that. You also do get 100 points for every bullet that gets cancelled from the extend cancel, if it's a bullet that is in the process of spawning. So, like, even if you say reach the bullet cap and get 1,000 points for all the bullets, then you would still get a few more extra points from bullets that are allowed to spawn in afterwards.
Speaking from a survival standpoint in this game, you get so much of your score quote-unquote for free that even in EXN and survival, which this is all so always remember from last stream, rank is king. You avoid everything that gives out score, and even though you avoid literally everything, you still often finish in EXN with like 40 million in this stage. And 40 million is like half the world record, and you literally did that by collecting no points whatsoever. So that's just how much of score you end up getting pretty much on accident here. And also, as far as survival goes, Gengetsu is just complete hell. Objectively speaking, most of her patterns are very easy, but the problem is that Gengetsu is also extremely luck-based in general. A lot of her patterns can just get giga crit rolls, and that pallet spam that Myler just died to can just completely airtight wall you. It has done it to me quite a fair share of times. Her final is very luck based as well. Phase 2 can be a little bit luck based. Phase 4 can be a little bit luck based. It's just it's just so hell for survival, so it hurts a lot. And when scoring partially relies on survival, that also affects things.
I would say that the first part of the final phase is really the big luck factor. I don't think the rest of the fight is really that particularly bad in terms of luck from like a survival standpoint, and obviously that does matter for a score run because you don't want to die at any point. And that is also something that needs to be mentioned because I just said you don't want to die accidentally. You do get a tremendous amount of score for the amount of lives that you finish with. And in this category, you want to finish with 4 extra lives left. And when you do that, you will get just enough clear bonus to where every frame that the score rolls up, you will get score. And this matters because in this game, you have a score cap in the clear bonus just by the nature of how many frames are being spent on the score rolling up. As soon as the game like freezes and goes to the results screen, the name entry screen, at that point the score will not roll up any further, and it will not correct itself for in the way that it does in MS, for example. So the maximum amount of score that you can get from the clear bonus and everything, I believe, is around 28 million. I forgot what the exact value. It's a very specific number that we're talking about, at least. But so the ideal run basically finishes with 4 lives left, where you get just enough points to where you get just over that limit, that score limit, but you don't go well over it. And that is why you specifically want to have 4 lives, because if you have 5, well then that score is just not going to be reflected in the clear bonus at all. It just goes to waste. So you want to use that extra life to bomb things.
That's very funny to hear, and definitely not how score display should be programmed. It's very funny that the real score and the displayed score are the same, which is very rarely the case with any video game.
Yeah, that it is unusual, I think. I guess one funny thing I can mention is that theoretically it is actually most optimal to finish the game with 1 life less. It requires a strategy that is so incredibly unlikely to work that you just don't do it. It basically involves you. It will basically involve you dying at almost the same frame that the penultimate phase ends, and it goes to the final bit of the final phase, and then you would have to bomb the items from the suicide and the items from the penultimate phase simultaneously. But you would have to do it on a pattern that has a lot of randomness to it, so it is effectively pass only. But if you could do it, you could get a lot of score, and you could beat the record by maybe I don't know how much, maybe 500,000 or more. And then you would also have to account for the fact that you also still need the clear bonus to be high enough. So, yeah, it is just too much. I don't think it's ever going to happen. It's like you would only do it if your run is basically dead and there's nothing else you can do. You're basically just making a huge gamble on a strategy that can never ever be consistent.
Well, let's see what Myler is doing here. So, yeah, I guess he was just collecting himself. Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that can happen in this stage. As we can see, it's far more competitive than the SOEW scoring block, because he's not having to reset, he's having to optimize stuff very well.
I think he's just he did select the main game. I didn't see it on the stream, but yeah, all right.
Yeah, LS Extra is harder, 24, I agree.
I would say that for like an I know Miss No Bomb, it is probably still one of the easier ones because it is so short and most patterns you do have specific strategies for to kind of make them a lot easier.
Oh, he was changing his sound fonts actually. Yeah, it sounds different now. Now he don't have funny whistles here. I mean, I did think it was funny that he picked a sound font where this has like funny, happy whistles at the start for this stage, really. But now we have like a harmonica sound font. It makes this sound like it's some kind of country song now.
Okay, I think now we accidentally selected the main game. Let's go for Rainbow A now.
Rainbow A, wow. Yeah, let's see how this goes.
And so Rainbow A is the homing shot type. Yeah, so high scores in this game are actually dependent on the character, not the shot type. So this could very well also just be a Rainbow B PB that he has right here. Also, the Rainbow B is also the highest scoring category for extra, and just for the game in general, really. Like the record right now is sitting at 80.9 million, but it can definitely still go up. Like the record did take some liberties. Like there are a few things that you can do to optimize even further. Like there's this spam section before the mid boss, the new A-ball mid boss, so to speak, where you can delay your bomb so that you can collect every single item from those enemies. But it does require some hellish dodging that you have to do. But that would be something that can improve the category, for example.
Actually, does SOEW also... Does SOEW, when it shows the high score, is it for everyone? Is it just for that shot?
It is just difficulty based.
Yeah, so it's for every shot.
Rainbow A, B, and C just all share the same high score that it displays on the screen when you're, doing a credit. Well, and then for MS, it doesn't really matter because each shot type is also just its own character anyways. So it just basically copies what LLS is doing effectively. And also, well, when you get to the name entry screen though, then each shot type does have its own scoreboard. So Rainbow A, B, and Marisa A and B each have their own scoreboard. And also, whenever you get letter scores in this game, which you can't get in this category, by the way, but when you get to the name entry screen and also the results screen where it shows Ellie's character portrait, then it does also display the score correctly, even though it doesn't display correctly in this game. But I do believe it's intentional because I think somewhere in the manual it does kind of imply that. Like, I forget if he had, like, a scoring guide for that one in LS, but I do think he anticipated that you can get more than, 100 million or more, basically. And when you get that amount of score, it starts displaying the first values A, B, C, etc. to denote 10, 11, 12, and so on.
That's something that has to be coded, and I just think he did that because there's no space in the HUD there for another number. So, it's A, B, C, whatever. He probably didn't expect people to go beyond the F, maybe, because F would be hex. But now people are on the K's and the L's and whatever on Mystic Square, for example.
Yeah. Well, in LS it does still display like beyond F to go to G. And so on. And like once you get to Z, then it starts displaying like basically like unintended characters, basically, like squares or something. I forget exactly what. Which you do actually see in the LLS demo, specifically the tasks. When you look at the clear bonuses, because in that game there is actually not really a grace limit, or at least you cannot really reach it. And basically when you get to the clear bonus, you want to get no more than like 13,000 grace, because if you go beyond that, the grace value in the clear bonus actually rolls over back to 0. So you want to get, like, I think 13,307 grace and no more than that.
Damn. Damn. This shot deals no damage.
Yeah, in terms of damage, this one is not that good. At least, definitely not from far away. It is actually very good in stages, though. Like, I was actually kind of impressed by how good Reimu A is in scoring, like, when I was scoring this back when I was doing easy mode, which was like more than 5 years ago by now, but
the harmonica here is so funny. It really recontextualizes the stage like it's the country song or something. I mean, I don't dislike it, but it's just a funny instrument to hear here. Gengetsu is the angel, Mugetsu is the maid. See Myler here going through the stage again, but this shot is just often kind of miserable.
I never actually played this shot on extra before, so I don't actually really know how much worse it is.
Honestly, at least when I played this on extra, it really felt like a bunch of the enemies in this extra are actually decently tanky to where you actually need to focus them down a little bit to KO them. You don't usually notice that with Marissa A because, come on, it's Marissa A. But with Rainway, he just tickles the enemies a little bit before she actually manages to KO them. So the homie sometimes struggles to put in some work, especially these eye enemies.
Yeah, I've mainly played this category with like Marissa B back in like 2015, and then also Reimu B back in like 2017 to 19, I forget exactly when. Last time I really played was during a dodging rain competition when I was playing this category alongside Chirpy, and that was also when we both actually. That was also back when we actually beat a world record in this category that was held by a player who got the score in like the 2000s, so it was a really old score. Like it was 20 or 80.2 something million, and Chirpy got 80.3 million with Marissa A. And then eventually I got 80.9 million with Reimu B, which is where the record is standing now. That was probably the most activity we've really seen with this category. I do think it is not really that bad of a category to get into, but there is the learning curve of, you know, the extend cancels and avoiding grace. Like that might be a little bit like, you know, like how do I deal with this? It is unlike any other category in the series. But hey, that does make it more interesting. At least when you get to like the real optimization. And also, like for reference, the tasks of this category is sitting at 86 million, and that uses the ridiculous strategy I mentioned earlier, where you finish with 3 lives instead of 4. And it is also largely thanks to that strategy that it was able to score 5 million more. Okay, yeah, so he is actually delaying his bomb right here, so he can get more of these items from these enemies. That is the optimization, but even then, he still bombed earlier than he should have, ideally, so... Because all of those enemies on the right did not get killed from the bomb, and he was not able to collect those items. So you can see how much risk you have to take to be able to bomb these as late as possible. What you can do is kill the first row of enemies with your shot, so the items can at least drop. And then you have to dash up basically towards the danger and then bomb. But that would allow you to delay the bomb just a little bit to where you can actually collect all of the items with the bomb to get the multiplier. One thing I did mention, but LLS bosses in this game actually do not have a hitbox, so he can actually just move over the little Nue orb there. Like, not a single boss in this game has a hitbox. You can just sit on them, and that also allows you to a bunch of save spots. There's quite a few save spots in this game.
There's a little bit of a holdover to that in MS, kind of. A little bit. In that Yuki specifically, in the Yuki and my fight, does not have a hitbox.
Yeah, well, there's that, and also all the mid bosses also don't have a hitbox. And then in SOEW, bosses do actually have a hitbox, except for the stage 1 boss, Flower Tank. For some reason, that one doesn't have a hitbox, and it also doesn't have a timer, and when you get to phase 2, you can just sit at the top of the screen, go AFK, and nothing happens to you. And if you're sadistic, that is actually a strategy you want to use to increase the rank just so the clear bonus is higher. Which is probably also a big reason why I don't think the lower difficulty records are going to be beaten anytime soon.
Well, rather, if you're masochistic, even.
Yep. And it doesn't even really score that much more. I forget exactly how much, but I think it's like no more than like 100k. Okay, so we're gonna change the sound font again. Maybe.
This is different, isn't it? Wait. Is it?
I'm not sure. I can definitely tell that Myler is not like quite as accustomed to this category, because I do kind of notice some like weird dodging that he does, like when he was doing the little bullet section before the boss. He was dodging that in a kind of a strange way, because you can do it in a very controlled streaming kind of manner because all of the bullets are aimed there, but he was kind of going back and forth in a kind of a wild manner. And I do know that he is not quite as accustomed to this category. Like, he doesn't do the he doesn't like go really hard on the extend cancel optimizations. And also, I think like that little movement up there, I think is also not correct, because you're not supposed to collide with any enemies before you bomb. And I do think there is a specific way you can just easily avoid that, so... I do think in general, he has really good runs in SVW and MS. LLS, not quite as much. Like, there are definitely some routing things that I would not recommend. Okay, so he is restreaming these, which is good, so he's actually able to collect the items. He's gonna wait so he can optimize the bomb a little, but it is quite risky. Now, if he does get hit, he will be able. He is able to death bomb. There are death bombs in this game. They were introduced in this game, and it's not really obvious that they exist because there's not like there's a death sound that you hear it when you bomb. It's more like you get hit and then you're basically have your movement locked, and then you have 8 frames, I believe, that you can press X to save yourself.
Yeah, you see your character briefly flash when they get hit as well, and that's your cue. It's kind of your cue.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't really react to an 8-frame window, like, on the spot, really, but... You know, if you at least see something coming that is about to kill you, you do at least have 8 frames of pity to get a bomb out and not die. You could say, at least to a lesser extent, there are also the invincibility frames in PODD, which came before this, where after you use a spell, you get some frames of invincibility to also save yourself. It's just not really, like a bomb per se. At least not the type of bomb that you have in POFV, for example.
You also don't get that many iframes on PODD or in this game either. You get a crap ton of iframes in USD, for example. In USD, you can die in the middle of one wave, and then you come back and it cancels the end of the current wave, and then you have enough iframes for the boss to wait, shoot their entire next wave, and then you eat all their bullets. That's a very good strategy in USD. You really can't do that in either here nor MS. You more or less just get enough iframes to collect yourself and go somewhere safe. So you do need to be careful about that. Chain deaths are far more real in this game than they are in Windows.
It's interesting. I also saw that EOZ had a pretty strict death bomb window, at least for Windows
not
game
the
standards.
Death bomb, I mean the iframes when you come back from the.
Oh, okay, right.
Ironically, the USD has a smaller death bomb window than this game. USD is 6 frames, and you get a penalty every time if you're not frame perfect.
Is that about the rank, or is something else? Because for rank, I do think it matters if you death bomb or not.
Now, people thought it did, but it actually didn't. If you bomb in USD and don't die, it's just you lose 2 rank in USD. And also, wow, nice cancel. Well, at least it saved him, kinda. Well, yeah, but yeah, in USD, if you death bomb, you have 6 frames, and then you have a penalty based off of how far off you were frame perfect. So if you were on frame 2, then well, screw you. Your next death bomb is 5 frames now.
By the way, this pattern right here, you do actually want to kill it pretty quickly, because if you wait too long, the pattern will actually speed up. And then when the pattern speeds up, you actually get worse cancels. Right here, he got a decent cancel, but it's definitely not a cancel you want to see in a record attempt.
Yeah, and Marissa B has bad enough damage that if you start trying to be way too safe about it, she can actually trigger the rage phase there.
Damn.
Thick walls, that's what you like to see. Good game design.
Thankfully, these large round bullets aren't as threatening as they look. Like, this is the game where the hitbox started being, a lot more generous. Definitely compared to SWW. Okay, that was a survival bomb. That was definitely... I think he was safe, but I guess he didn't want to risk it. I mean, he probably does want to finish a run at this point. Okay, he's probably gonna try to get the cancel here. Oh, okay, well, he got the extend cancel at the same time that he cleared the phase, and then he kind of panicked, and yeah, it was over. That he wasn't really supposed to die there. That was definitely a mistake on his end. Those dual laser bullets are aimed at you, so he should have just been sitting still there. And also that phase, you can also completely avoid the sparkly bullets by just simply being in the area that Gengetsu's closest to. Jeez. So if she's on the left side, you want to sit in the left corner. and vice versa. So. But you do have to be pretty quick to collect the items once those items appear, so you do, like, not only so you are more likely to get them at max value, but also so you're ready for the next attack. And the items do actually spawn in random positions once a phase ends, so it does you would ideally want them to spawn high up, so you can also be more likely to get them at max value. You don't bomb these items.
Yeah, I guess we've seen a switch back to Marissa A here, probably for consistency's sake, and also because God, the damage on Rainbow A is painful.
Yeah, and this also the shot type he's most used to. He primarily plays Marissa A, and that kind of goes for most score players. Most use Marissa A, even though she's not the best shot type. She's probably the second worst, in fact. But the score potential between the shot types is actually very close together. Like, it does not make much of a difference, but, I mean, the difference obviously exists.
Yeah, and also, like, come on, Marissa A gets stuff done. That's also a big difference as far as it becomes when you're deciding which shot to pick.
I personally never use Marissa A for score because I don't want to deal with the lasers that just stay on the screen while you're trying to carefully damage bosses till they're like very close to the next phase. It's not something I'm really interested in dealing with, and I do know that in other such categories it does kind of make things more difficult. Like, for example, in EOSD, I've seen Gogo be playing Marissa B lately, and I do see him often just prematurely end patterns too early because of the lasers, because they just stick around too long. So you have to like really go out of your way to go into the corner to wait until the lasers stop firing. So like that is just like one extra vector of difficulty you have to deal with, and that's kind of why I also never really bothered with scoring Marissa A. But I've played every other shot type.
Yeah, there's some phase manips that you do in the main game related to Marissa. Well, you do phase manips in general that require you to, you know, control your damage somewhat in the main game. You usually get somewhat used to the laser timings there, so you can time it well so you don't accidentally screw it up. There's very serious consequences to screwing up your phase and manips in both Reimu, in the Reimu fight and the alley fight, to be specific. So you do learn that pretty quickly when you're playing that category often. You have,
one thing that I think is also makes scoring this maybe a little bit less popular also is because you do not have like health bars for every phase or like every pattern that you deal with, so you have to memorize each threshold of the overall health bar that you see on the right on the screen. Yeah, and there are visual cues for most of them, so like you usually use the enemy text that you see to know more or less when where the thresholds are. So you do need to keep those in mind. It's not really that bad that once you kind of know where they are. But yeah. Well, at least it's gonna be pretty safe to kill this off in time before the pattern gets faster.
It's funny because in USD you also don't have the dividers between the spells either. Sure, you have the number of health bars, but you don't have the section that tells you where the spell card begins in USD either. That's something that also came in PCB. It's another
Yeah.
little thing that kind of places USD a little closer to PC98 than it does the rest of Windows.
And the HUD also doesn't have that much detail to it, so it's harder to tell. Like, it's harder to visualize where you want to stop shooting. And well, in a case like a game like this, where there is basically no HUD elements, it's just all, all just a flat color.
Oh god, no, my god, this is not nice.
He ended that pattern slightly early, probably just for safety, because he could have waited until all the pellet bullets spawned, so he could get a bigger cancel there for the extra thousands of points. Yeah, and here all these pellets are aimed, so I don't think this phase is quite as bad.
Far as we've been so far, this is the pattern where you can get a lot of grays.
Yeah, so you did mention that when you're doing a regular clear of this game, or even just an XNN, you get like still 40 million points. Well, it's because you pretty much get 999 grays automatically. There's lots of patterns like this where, if you kind of do it in a controlled, dodging kind of manner, you just automatically graze a ton. Like a pattern like this in particular, where you have this thick line of bullets that almost gives you 100 grays right there. And then the next phase, which is like the spark phase, you're also gonna get a ton of grays.
Yeah,
like
that one has a lot of bullets. Here's the other Master Spark in this game. Master Spark was just in vogue in Gensokyo at this time.
Yeah, so this phase can be a little bit scary because the dual laser pattern that she fires, it is static, but if you make a small movement mistake, you can just die right there and then. You basically have to do a left and right movements pretty quickly, so it is scary, but if you get used to it, it is not quite as bad as it looks. And then
static
for this
based on her movement, but it's scary, yeah.
Well, it's based on where she is, but the pattern itself never changes.
Oh, here he is.
Okay, interesting. He's using a bomb right there. Then, I mean, he does have 2 bombs, so he can do it.
This is terrible. This is a terrible attack. You think USD has RNG? Look at this.
Yeah, so I think this is the scary pattern because of the randomness involved, and there's sometimes bullets that can go really fast. This final phase also isn't too bad, but again, it is the final attack, so you do want to stay on your toes, and you don't want to get pinned to the bottom of the screen, because then you can get walled by the large round bullets. So you do want to kind of keep weaving through the lanes of the pellet bullets as they.
Oh, DKO!
Oh my god, that is a huge score loss. Yeah, that cost us
5.9.
Yeah, he lost 30,000 from the clear bonus times almost 100, so that's 3 million lost right there.
Yeah, could have been a pretty good score even.
Yeah, he would have definitely had a good score run, without the big optimizations or anything. Okay, is he calling it quits for here? Let's see what he says. Let's hear it from the voices in our head.
Hasn't contacted us so far. I believe that he might call it now.
In the chat, he says finished. He says finished in the chat. GG finished. So yeah, I guess that's it. Good. That's gonna be it for Myler.
Yeah, very nice. Ha! Wait, up next. No, we don't want to see cozy outdoor garden cafe. No. What even is that?
YouTube stream moment.
No, what even is this stream? I mean, hopefully it wasn't anything stupid. Well, we see Moon practicing here.
Let's have some elevator music.
Just a bit.